my name is Melissa. This is my friend Joey Mordini. We did a report on the Lenape Indians, which are also called the original people, and they're a branch of the Delaware Indians. They lived in New Jersey thousands of years ago, and were divided into three main groups: the wolf, the turtle, and the turkey. And an Indian leader was called the sachem. There are no original Lenapes left in New Jersey today. Since there was no strollers or baby carriages for the babies, a baby would be strapped onto a wooden board, then strapped onto the mother's back. The Lenape Indians lived in things called longhouses, which were about 60 feet long and 20 feet wide. Inside, there are benches about 3 feet off the ground for sleeping on, and more benches above that for storage. In the middle of the floor, there was a fire for heat, cooking, and for light, and the smoke would go out through a hole in the roof.
Hi, my name is Meyer. My topic is literary history in New Jersey. I picked three authors to start with: Sterling North, and his most famous book was Rascal, A Memoir of a Better Era. Mary Maeve Starrs, and her most famous book was Hans Brinker or the Silver Skates, and Amari Baraka, but none of his 28 plays were popular. I have three cards, and on these cards are answers to these questions. I read the answers, and then we decide which name it is. Born 1906, lived 60 years. Moved to New Jersey after he was married. Was a literary editor and reporter for Chicago Daily News. His most famous book was Rascal, A Memoir of a Better Era. If I could meet him, I would ask him if he liked being an author. And that's Sterling North. Born 1831, lived 74 years. She moved to New Jersey when she was around 7 years old. She was the first editor of St. Nicholas magazine and co-editor of Hearth and Home. Her most famous book was Hans Brinker or the Silver Skates. If I could meet her, I would ask her if there was any pressure on her since she was a woman author in years when most women did not work outside the home. And that's Mary Elizabeth Maeve Starrs. Born 1934, age 58 and still living. His real name is Everett Leroy Jones. He was born in Newark, New Jersey. He is a black nationalist, third-world Marxist communist, and playwright. He wrote 28 plays, however, none of the plays are well known. If I could ask him one question, I would ask him, since you are black, did you feel people looked against you? And that's Amari Baraka.
This is me and Michael Palato, and we are presenting dinosaurs. Well, the first dinosaur found in New Jersey is the Hydrosaurus fulci. It has three names: a Trachodon, Hydrosaurus fulci, and duck-billed dinosaur. Its worst enemy it was a plant eater. Its worst enemy was the Dryptosaur. The Dryptosaur would run after it and try to kill it with its sharp teeth and its claws. But the duck-billed dinosaur, it would swim into the water. It was discovered by William Fulci, a scientist, and he found it in Hattonfield, New Jersey, Camden County, 1858. This dinosaur stands from 20 to 25 feet tall. They think dinosaurs might have died in one big catastrophe, maybe a worldwide disaster. And that's my report about dinosaurs.
In 3, 2, 1.
Hello, my name is Nicole, and this is Victoria, and we did lighthouses, and my report is called All About Lighthouses. The story of the lighthouses in this country begins with the building of Boston Light by the Massachusetts Bay colonists back in 1716. The lighthouse builders of those early colonial days always put their beacons on land, atop a cliff or a hill overlooking the sea. They were usually made of rubble, stone, masonry, or brick. In the early 1900s, a big change in the method of constructing lighthouses occurred when the San Francisco earthquake of 1906 destroyed the Point Area Light. It was rebuilt using reinforced concrete for the first time in a lighthouse. It proved to be such a great success that this building material is today by far the most popular for lighthouse construction. A lighthouse has two jobs to do regardless of whether it is made of brick, stone, or iron. It is perched on headland or has its base deep beneath the waves. It must warn ships away from the immediate danger of rocks or shoals and must tell the navigator where he is. And it must do this under any weather conditions and from as great a distance as possible. In 1560, the Swedes began using coal. In 1782, a Swiss inventor named Argand invented a lamp with a wick and burned oil. This gave a much brighter flame. The next great advance was a lamp which used kerosene under pressure and burned under a mantle. This method gave 8 times as much light as the wick lamp and used less oil. Meanwhile, experiments with electricity had been going on, and in 1886, an electric arc light was placed in the Statue of Liberty. 3 years later, the Sandy Hook beacon at the entrance to New York Harbor was also electrified. It remains for Thomas A. Edison, inventor of the phonograph. No matter how powerful the light, there have always been times when a vessel had to rely on hearing to get warning of danger. As a result, many types of fog signals were tried out. At Boston Lake in 1719, a cannon was fired during heavy fog. This was not used for long. The bell was introduced but came with other problems. Still, the search for a more penetrating sound continued until someone discovered the siren. The diaphone was a very effective variation of the siren. Another type of horn, the diaphragm horn was used. Now that the electronic age has changed all this, and the really modern lighthouse is practically self-reliant, depending less and less on the light and sound, and more on electronic signals. Bass Harbor Headlight, Maine, 1858. Among the most picturesque lighthouse anywhere, Bass Harbor Headlight is seen and photographed each year by countless thousands of visitors to Acadia National Park. Clinging to a rocky promontory, the structure consists of a small white tower attached to a modest dwelling, established by the Lighthouse Board in 1858. Less on the light and sound, and more on electronic signals. Bass Harbor Light, Maine, 1858. Among the most picturesque lighthouse anywhere, Bass Harbor Headlight is seen and photographed each year by countless thousands of visitors to Acadia National Park. Clinging to a rocky promontory, the structure consists of a small white tower attached to a modest dwelling, established by the Lighthouse Board in 1858. Sandy Hook Light, New Jersey, 1764. On the evening of June 11, 1764, a keeper trudged up the steps of the recently completed Sandy Hook Lighthouse and lit its oil lamps for the first time. Today, more than 2 1/4 centuries later, the light at the top of the old tower still burns each night. Although it was not America's first lighthouse, that honor goes to the Boston Light. Barnegat Light, New Jersey, 1835. The man who built the first lighthouse on New Jersey's Barnegat Inlet was none other than Winslow Lewis, a key figure in the early history of the American lighthouse establishment. A retired sea captain, Lewis held the patient on the Argand lamp and parabolic reflector system used in many American lighthouses until the 1850s. A friend of Treasury Department, Fifth Auditor and Lighthouse Caesar Treasury Department, Fifth Auditor and Lighthouse Caesar Stephen Pleasant Lewis often won contracts to build and equip light stations. Cape May, New Jersey, 1823. The Cape May Lighthouse today is like most of the coastal along the east coast below New England, sited on low ground so that to get the light high enough to be seen at sea, a tall masonry tower is necessary. The government built the first lighthouse here in 1823 and rebuilt it in 1847. In 1859, the Lighthouse Board erected the present tower with a red lantern, which serves also to guide ships into the Delaware Bay. I hope that this report will give you some idea of the importance that lighthouses played in New Jersey's history.
My name is Michelle Domini, and for the Social Studies Fair, me and my partner Kinney did Birds of New Jersey, and I'm going to explain about the bluebird, which can grow to be 7 inches and is blue with a red breast. The catbird grows from 7 to 8.5 inches and is a gray bird and gets its name from a sound it makes when it's disturbed or angry, and it's a loud meow sound. The cardinals are from 7.5 to 8.5 inches, and the male is a dark red with a black head. The female is a grayish buff color and is red on its crest, its wings, and its tail, and it has a pink beak.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Cadis, and this is my partner Michelle. I also did the project on birds in New Jersey. I am going to explain about the red-winged blackbird. The red-winged blackbird is usually black with red shoulders. This is a female, and it's usually heavily streaked with heavy brown. This is their chickadees. They usually grow to be about 5 inches. They get their name from how they do their call. This is the Baltimore Oriole. The Baltimore Oriole are usually yellow and black, and the female is always uglier than the male.
I did a report on amphibians of New Jersey, and also my partner David Wang, but he's not here, he's absent. So amphibians only live in particular places in the state, but also they like to swim in water a lot, and that's what this report is about. There's all different kinds of amphibians. There's tree frogs, there's tiger salamanders, there's painted turtles, there's leopard frogs, there's spotted salamanders, and all of those. And I have some slides about amphibians, and this is how some turtle changes into the different like sections for its growth. This is a tree frog, and this is a spotted salamander. Also, this is a tree frog too. As you can see, it's not like just like this, because this is a leopard tree frog, because the difference is that on a regular tree frog, it has the gills in their cheeks, but on a leopard tree frog, it has the gills on their legs. a tiger salamander it's just a salamander that likes to crawl on rocks. This is a diamondback terrapin. It's related to the turtle family. This is a painted turtle, also related to the turtle family, but some people think it's a tortoise, but they can't make their decision. This is a leopard frog. This is a leopard tree frog, and that's a leopard frog. They're almost the same, but they're not. This is a king snake. A king snake also stays in the pine barrens. This is a pine snake, and this person likes this. It lives in the pine barrens, and it hates people. So whenever it sees people, it jumps up their necks and starts squeezing them. This is a red salamander. This is the skeleton of that. This is a slimy salamander. This is called the slimy salamander because when you feel it, it gets all the goo on you. And it is an egg of a spotted salamander. This is a spotted salamander when it goes up.